Like moved out here without a big support network, but like I generally attribute like actually being bold and like leaving my job and leaving like why I moved out to the Bay Area to the SOfit community, because you guys were like, you just gotta do something. So I've been taking SOfit classes for about 2 years now. I got pretty serious about them in the last year and a half. I think for me, the journey has been one that like I really didn't think I was missing something in my life. I just thought, I don't want to be lazy and sit on my couch, and I like want to work out. But I realized I wasn't necessarily missing the workout part of my life. I was like really missing like friends and people that were advocating for me. And so that has been why I've stayed and why I go 4 to 5 days a week now. SOfit was the first place in San Francisco that when someone asked like, how are you doing? How's your week going? They really wanted to hear not just like, oh, it's good. But they wanted to be like, you know, did you like eat your vegetables this week? Did you get your dry cleaning done? Did you apply for that job you said you were really excited about? And so it's the little and small things that I didn't realize I like relied on such of my social network in Boston. And so when I talk about SOfit, I just talk about having a community that like really shows up and like, yes, we like sweat together, and I try to like not do my lunge as low as I can or like get lower. But like really, it's a group that holds me accountable in a way that like no one else in my life, with the exception maybe my sister, does, to like be who I want to be and like live up to what I say I'm going to do. SOfit brings together people that aren't necessarily the same life stage and don't have the same goals, because we're coming together instead to like support other people's goals. So it doesn't matter if your goal looks like my goal, because we're not competing for that. We don't have to have the same resources for it. We just want to kind of get towards our own individual goal. I often describe Lillian as my Korean alter ego, mostly because my name is also Lillian, so the similarities are immediately obvious. But also in many ways, like Lillian's a natural foil for me. Lillian often kind of takes the opposite approach, and so for me, it's been like a really incredible opportunity to watch kind of her grow, like as a business leader, as a community leader, because many of those things are things that I wouldn't have necessarily thought would have been so successful and so powerful, because it's just not the way I think and approach problems. But it has like brought this community together and been such a key part in like my personal growth. Like I know it works and I like trust her so much, but if I were to like meet her on the streets and like hear what she does, I'd be like, those are crazy things. But I just like love her. Like I just like so much of, I know like SOfit has so many pieces of it, but like ultimately it's Lillian, and like you love her or you don't love her, but like you know that she's looking out for you. No one before I think has so clearly been like, you might be happier or better off if you like did these things. Here are some tools to get there. You can do the work or you don't have to, but like you will probably thank me if you do. And I think most of my life has been like this way or that way, and like kind of pushed into it, and it has gotten me to many great things, but it hasn't necessarily been a lot of like autonomously driven decision making. And Lillian just kind of like puts it all out there and is like, this is what's best for you, but I'm not gonna do the work for you, which is very different, but also makes it hard. So I have tried to get a lot of friends to come. It is not really for people that aren't really willing to make the commitment. This isn't like a normal yoga studio or a cycling studio where like you pay a certain amount of money and you get a certain number of hours in the studio space. It's perfect for the person who has ambitious plans for themselves and isn't quite sure how to get there. And that can be whether it's, you know, physical, like I definitely have seen my body change, and that has been a really nice benefit. I really should have worn a tank top. I have super great arms. But it's also for the person who's like, I want to make my career better, I want to make my relationship better, and they're not really sure what to do. And I'm definitely not a person who like ever thought about going to therapy or that I like needed therapy, but like we all need a space to like set intentions and to think on them and to reflect on them. And I think for me, SOfit has really been that place to like put out intentions, to get reactions to it, to be held accountable for those intentions. So I think if you're ready to be in that space and be super sweaty and be super ripped, this is it. I am constantly sore, which I think is different than anything I've ever done before, where the more I do it, I think it gets easy. And so if it isn't like that, like Lillian continues to challenge us, but also like the group all evolves together. And so everyone's ready for harder things. I think the thing I hate the most about SOfit, other than the fact that like Lillian seems to have eyes in the back of her head and like can always see when I'm like kind of cheating out on an activity. For me, the hardest part of being in SOfit is like being open and honest that like I'm not always happy, or I'm not always proud of the product I produced, or I didn't always put in my best effort. SOfit is that like one safe space I have to talk about those things, but just because it exists doesn't mean it's easy. So I have a lot of favorite things about SOfit. I think for me, the thing that comes to mind immediately is that I feel like I have like the brain power of like an incredible group of people that would kind of rush and jump into any problem solving I need. The SOfit community is a group that's really cared to make sure that I didn't like wither away and that I'm like working towards my full potential. SOfit is not the right fit for people that aren't ready to do the work. And I think when you hear about SOfit, you may think that when I say do the work, I'm talking like physically, you're not ready to like go multiple days a week, to be really sweaty, to hold dumbbells in your hand for an hour, to like not have a stop, no water. When I say like not ready to work, I really mean like not willing to show up as your true self, not being willing to like be open and be vulnerable. The work that SOfit does is definitely very physical, but is way more effective, and it like is designed for people that are ready to be open and honest even when it's hard, and to respect the fact that everyone else is being open and honest, and kind of keeping that within the community, and respecting that it's a really special space.
Just got rich.